evening, I'm Ces Oreña-Drilon.
I'm Pauline Verzosa. Flood control project in Bulacan. No bail is recommended.
I have to do, irrespective of the possible turnout. Maybe members of Congress might wake up one morning thinking, maybe we ought to exact accountability from our president.
No one, not even the president, sa babdalo, mapanagot ang totoong may mga sala.
I'm still puzzled on what's really the motive of this complaint, because I find it strange na it's only 4 pages without attachments.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is now facing an impeachment complaint, his first ever after almost 4 years into power. The complaint was filed by lawyer Andres de Jesus and was endorsed by Pusong Pinoy Party List Representative Jet Nisay. The two are accusing Mr. Marcos of violating the Constitution and betraying public trust. That's over the ICC arrest in March last year of former President Rodrigo Duterte. The impeachment complaint also states that the chief executive is unfit to serve due to drug addiction, as claimed by his very own sister, Senator Amy Marcos. De Jesus also included as grounds for Marcos's ouster his alleged failure to veto unprogrammed appropriations and other constitutional provisions in the General Appropriations Bill for 2023 to 2026. The complainant likewise alleged that the president received kickbacks from the government's flood control projects and that he used the Independent Commission for Infrastructure to supposedly target opponents and shield corrupt allies. The complaint was received by House Secretary General Cheloy Garafil. Under House rules and in accordance with the Constitution, it will be transmitted to House Speaker Boji D. Once verified, the complaint will go through discussions at the House, which has as leaders the president's allies, including his son, Congressman Sandro Marcos.
For some, it might be laughable. For some, it might be trivial. But an allegation that our sitting president might be somehow involved in an addiction of some sort to prohibited drugs should be alarming.
What I need to do, I have to do. So that is exactly why I'm here, irrespective of the possible turnout. But then again, miracles do happen. I believe that miracles happen, and who knows? The numbers might end up being in our favor. Maybe members of Congress might wake up one morning thinking, hey, you know what? He has a point. Maybe we ought to exact accountability from our president.
Meantime, Congressman Nisay was asked about his endorsement of the impeachment complaint against President Marcos. Nisay's name was in the list of congressmen who the ICI said were linked to contractors involved in government infrastructure projects. Last November, the ICI recommended the filing of criminal and administrative complaints against Nisay and other so-called contractors. Nisay is also denied working for the camp of Vice President Sara Duterte.
No one, not even the president, sa babdalo. So sabi nga, mapanagot ang dapat mapanagot. So siguro, mapanagot ang totoong may mga sala.
Sorry to ask this question, pero are you working with the side of the Vice President?
Ano?
And it's not only Congressman Jet Nisay's endorsement of the complaint that's being questioned. House Senior Deputy Minority Leader in Caloocan City 2nd District Congressman Egay Erice also finds it strange for attorney Andre de Jesus to file an impeachment complaint against the president. Erice says de Jesus was once a counsel to First Lady Liza Marcos in a disbarment case against another lawyer.
I'm still puzzled with what is the motive, because anytime any person can file a complaint until within the week. So pareho lang. It will be consolidated. It will be referred to the Committee on Justice. I'm still puzzled on what's really the motive of this complaint, because I find it strange na it's only 4 pages without attachments.
De Jesus, for his part, has denied having links to both President Marcos and Vice President Duterte. But the VP's brother, Davao City 1st District Congressman Paulo Duterte, believes this complaint against the president is meant to protect and not impeach him. Pulong believes this formal ouster charge will likely be dismissed, thereby triggering the 1-year ban on initiating more than one impeachment proceeding against the same official. In a statement, House Speaker Boji D is likewise pushing back. This early, he says the House of Representatives sees no sufficient basis to justify the impeachment complaint filed against the president. D also emphasized that impeachment is a serious and rigorous constitutional process that should not be used for political purposes or to sow division. The Speaker also added that the House remains focused on its legislative duties when it resumes session before the month ends, prioritizing the passage of meaningful laws aimed at improving the lives of Filipinos.
Meantime, Malacanang said it acknowledges democracy in the filing of the impeachment case against President Bongbong Marcos. And while the palace is yet to receive a copy of the complaint, Press Officer Claire Castro assures that it will respect the process and trusts that Congress will do its job with integrity.
Itong mga issue po na ito ay matagal na po natin nasagot. Matagal na po natin itong naipaliwanag at masasabi natin sa ngayon, base lamang po sa inyong sinabi ay masasabi natin ito ay walang basehan. Ang Pangulo po ay naniniwala na ang mga mababatas natin ay gagamit ng kanilang pag-iisip, kanilang puso at sila ay naaayon sa batas at hindi para sa pansariling kapakanan lamang.
For now, it's business as usual for President Bongbong Marcos. On Monday, he visited Negros Occidental and inspected the Sumag water treatment plant. He was also in Antique earlier in the day for the inauguration of the province's new expanded capacity airport. In fact, Yusek Castro said she was not able to discuss the impeachment complaint with the president at all because he is very busy at the moment.
Maliwanag naman po ang naging trabaho ng Pangulo. Ang lahat po na nagiging trabaho ng Pangulo ay naaayon sa batas at naaayon sa konstitusyon. Kung pag-uusapan natin yung sinasabing kidnapping ng dating Pangulong Duterte, ito ay sinasabi nating case of first impression. So wala pa pong nadidesisyonan.
And we now discuss the impeachment complaint filed against the president with House Senior Deputy Minority Leader Congressman Egay Erice. Good evening and welcome back to the Big Story, Congressman.
Paul and Pauline.
You said you were puzzled by the motive of this impeachment complaint. Would you say that it is meant to actually protect the president?
Well, I don't want to come into conclusion, pero ang alam ko, napakamahina at it can be easily dismissed. Actually, yung form nito kasi walang mga, it's only 15 pages, so kulang na kulang sa mga attachments. For example, yung number 1, culpable violation of the Constitution and betrayal of public trust, tungkol dun sa ICC, it would require a lot of documents to prove na merong kidnapping. So wala namang nangyari. So mawawala lang yan. Graft and corruption, allegations involved systematic plunder, wala rin yan dahil wala namang affidavit si Saldico. So unfitness for office, alleged drug addiction, mahirap patunayan yun. Hindi naman pilitin yung presidente na magpa-drug test. At hindi naman pwedeng paniwalaan lang yung salita, kapatid. Failure to exercise veto power. The president is accused of grossly inexcusable negligence for failing to veto unconstitutional provisions in the general appropriations. Ito may punto ito. Pero would require a lot of documents. Kailangan mailagay lahat yung mga items nung unappropriated allocations na inalist mula sa National Expenditures Program noong 2023, 2024, 2025 at patunayan na pinalitan ng mga ghost projects, mga question projects, at dahil pinayagan naman talaga ito ng Pangulo. It is a fact na pinayagan niya dahil noong 2025, 1.45 trillion pesos yung inalis dun sa President's budget, sa National Expenditures Program, pinalitan ng mga proyekto at yung mga priority projects like the flagship projects ay inilipat sa program appropriations. Yan nga yung malaking nakawan. Pero it would require a lot of evidence. 15 page paano natin masasabi na nag-research mabuti, talagang minadali. Abuse of power. The complaint alleges creation of the Independent Commission was weaponized, moved to shield political allies and target enemies. Napakamahirap na patunayan yan. Kung ako boboto rito, dismiss na ito.
But you did say, Congressman, if it is meant to shield the President, marami namang complaints na pwedeng dumating pa and they can be consolidated before being referred to the Justice Committee.
Kaya nga ako, puzzled ako. Pero may timeline ngayon, yung mga mag-file, kung nag-iipon pa lang sila ng mga ebidensya. Kasi kung ma-file yan sa Monday, madaliin yan ng Secretary General, ma-file yan sa, calendar yan, tapos ma-refer sa committee, yun na. Baka hindi.
Deemed initiated na.
Deemed initiated na. So, kailangan yung mga magfa-file, kailangan siguro within 2 days, 3 days, pa-file nila. At dapat makumbins nila yung Secretary General na kasi may 10 days ang President to file it, to send it, refer it to the para makakalenda.
Congressman,
baka magulo yung sistema na yan. Ito alam kung paano.
You also pointed out na may connection itong si Attorney De Jesus kay First Lady Lisa Marcos.
Well, I am referring to a GMA article. It was, here's the article. I would read it para walang medyo, lang tayo.
Kung ano lang petsa nung article na yan?
November 24, 2024. Si attorney, a disbarment complaint has been filed against a lawyer who dared First Lady Lisa Marcos to pay him so he could slap her. A Supreme Court official confirmed to GMA News Online Friday that lawyer and university professor Andre De Jesus filed a complaint against lawyer Glenn Chong on Wednesday. De Jesus said Chong dared the First Lady to pay him so he could slap her back-to-back during a rally on March. In a statement, he stressed the lawyer should not be impertinent. Hindi tayo dapat bastos kahit sa ating mga katunggali, sa korte, sa politika.
Aside from this article po, do you have personal knowledge if may ties po talaga itong si Attorney De Jesus kay FL?
No. Kasi ang lumalabas dito, he defended the First Lady. Then ngayon, he's a complainant of the President. Sana kung lawyer lang, okay lang yun. Pero he is the complainant.
Okay, pero... okay, go ahead.
And second, Congressman Jeff Nisay is a member of the minority. He's with us, but he's known to be a very close ally of Congressman Abet Garcia of Bataan. In fact, he is the former chief of staff of Governor Joet Garcia. Yes, are officers of the NUP, National Unity Party. At dahil sinabi mismo ni Congressman Puno na ang NUP at siya ay hindi mag-endorse o hindi papayag na ma-impeach
But would you say, Congressman Erice, it's still too early to say no, na baka nga maging Oliver Lozano 2.0 siya, as a lot of people fear, because nagbago na rin yung rule. Di ba yung nagtitrigger po kasi na talagang na-file na itong impeachment case is yung referral sa Justice Committee. So,
Yes.
have you spoken to Congresswoman Luistro? What did she have to say about it po?
Well, I don't know, pero ako the Secretary General has tended to refer it to the Committee on Rules. And the Committee on Rules has 3 days to calendar it for business. So if tomorrow, Secretary General, the Secretary General refers it to the Committee on Rules, then by Monday, the House can already refer it to the Committee on Justice on Monday.
So dito kayo nagkakasundo ni Congressman Paulo Duterte?
I don't know what he said.
Well, he did say also that, he's questioning the impeachment complaint as well with the same arguments that you have laid out.
Kung pareho kami, siguro pareho kami na naisip. Pero sabi ko nga, bibigyan natin ng pagkakataon kasi kung halimbawa naman may mag-file, kasi sabi ng Makabayan Bloc, they will be filing an impeachment complaint. May mga iba grupo nagsabi, mag-file sila. So may file na to, siguro mamadaliin na nila within the week. At kung may file nito ng within the week, kung may i-refer din mabilisan nito sa Committee on Rules.
So, posible
Para complicated.
Okay. So it's also possible, Kong, no, that this was filed, no, para kumbaga i-pressure yung mga ibang filers na madaliin yung kanilang mga submissions.
Yes. Kasi if you will remember, nung filean si Vice President Sara, maraming nag-file, dahan-dahan, ang tagal, bago, hindi nga ni-refer sa ang tagal, at hinintay pa yung 6th complaint bago ma-file kaya nga doon nagkaroon ng question sa
Supreme Court.
Diba? So, talagang may leeway may mga loopholes na pwede talagang madalin ito at mabaliwala after complaints.
But you did say na doon sa NEP, medyo doon sa hindi pag-veto sa mga unprogrammed funds, may punto. So there is time for a more solid complaint.
Kasi di ba, yan naman ang tinatanong ko lagi the president must have his underlying reason. But yes, to explain to the people, bakit in 2023, 300 billion yung tinanggal sa kanyang pondo. Hindi siya kumibo. Yung kabinete niya, hindi kumibo. Na 2024, 500 plus billion yung tinanggal sa NEP. At ang pinakamasama, dahil dyan, magmumulta ang ating bansa, magdi-delay ng 4 years yung mga flagship projects niya. Si saan program at hindi na pondohan. 2025, ganun din. Flagship program, 157 million, 473 lahat yan. Inilipat-lipat ng Kongreso. Hindi lang yan sa kasaysayan ng ating bansa na pumapayag ang presidente na yung kanyang pondo ay papalitan.
So the question is, if that is the argument, although you did say you will not join and put your name in an impeachment complaint, will you, if you find something that has form and substance?
Sabi ko, I don't want, kasi those who approach me to endorse it are members of are stalwarts of the Vice President. And being a member of the Liberal Party, I don't want to be associated with them.
The Makabayan Bloc is not.
They did not approach me because they have the complainants and they have the endorsers.
But Congressman, go ahead.
Yes, and second, sabi ko nga, I'm still giving the president the benefit of the doubt by trying to urge him to explain why did he allow the 55 trillion in insertions, diversions, without vetoing it, without saying anything. At meron talagang damage sa bansa. Malaking.
Pero Congressman, babalik pa rin po tayo dun sa tanong na lulusot ba ito in the lower house, because it's no secret that the president enjoys the support of the supermajority in the House of Representatives. May appetite po ba talaga for an impeachment against the president kung ito man ay madideem initiated na sa House of Representatives?
Alam mo, the recent Supreme Court decision, kailangan dumaan sa Committee on Justice para magkaroon ng hearings. So ito yung pagkakataon na magkaroon ng accountability, hindi lang ang presidente, kundi ang vice president. Mapag-usapan ito publicly. It's a political process, but yes, kailangan siguro na malaman ng tao kung ano talaga yung mga pangyayari. Ma-discuss ito, mapagdebatihan ito sa committee. Whether refer ito sa Senate or hindi, may mahalaga na mangyayari na nako-question yung accountability ng ating mga pinakamatatas na pinuno ng bansa. Dahil wala naman tayong ibang magagawa para tanungin sila, gawin silang accountable, kundi impeachment process sapagkat sila ay impeachable officers.
We thank you for talking to us. House Senior Deputy Minority Leader and Caloocan Congressman
Sandigan Bayan has issued warrants of arrest Dr. Bong Revilla and 6 former officials of the DPWH Bulacan 1st District Engineering Office. This is over a non-bailable charge of malversation of public funds linked to a 92.8 million peso ghost flood. Senate detention over contempt charges. And as we speak, these arrest warrants have been served Hernandez and Mendoza at the upper chamber as authorized by Senate President pro tempore Ping Lacson. Prior to the Sandigan Bayan order, records show this malversation case has been raffled off to the Anti-Graft Court's 3rd Division, while the related malversation and graft charges are pending before the 4th Division.
Revilla's friend, Senator Jinggoy Estrada, could also be facing possible plunder charges. We have more details when the big story returns. And we have the Justice Department saying that even former Public Works Secretary Manny Bonoan is a co-respondent in that separate complaint filed by the NBI. We have details next. Keep it here on One News.
Welcome back to the big story. The first Senate Blue Ribbon Committee hearing for the year has just concluded, and it began with former Public Works Secretary Manuel Bonoan explaining mismatched grid coordinates of flood control projects which he allegedly provided Malacanang. Let's get the details from mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. Merimon, bago tayo pumunta sa Blue Ribbon Inquiry highlights, nakita mo ba yung pag-aresto kina dismissed DPWH engineers Bryce Hernandez at JP Mendoza?
Ladies, magandang gabi. Tama yan, kanina lamang umalis na itong array ng mga vehicle kasama ang NBI na bit-bit din itong sina Bryce Hernandez at saka JP Mendoza. Kanina sinerve na rin itong arrest warrant laban sa kanila na nanggaling din sa Sandigan Bayan patungkol nga sa kaso naman ng over 92 billion pesos worth ng flood control project sa Pandi, Bulacan. Ang nasabi rin kanina ni Senate President Tito Soto nung hindi pa natin nakikita yung actual na pag-serve o pag-i-issue ng arrest warrant, inauthorize na rin na nilang mangyari ito. Kaya naman naging mabilis din itong pag-transfer ng custody ng 2 district engineer. Ladies.
Okay. At kung maaalala natin, hindi pinayagan, no? Hindi pinahintulutan tong si Bryce at si JP na sumali sa Witness Protection Program ng DOJ.
Tama, si Henry Alcantara pa lang so far dito sa mga nasa kustodiya ang magiging part na ng Witness Protection Program. At ang nasabi naman dito ni Prosecutor General Padulyon hindi pa raw nagkakaroon, kailangan pa raw asikasuhin yung arrangements para sa transfer ng custody dito naman kay Engineer Alcantara dahil may kailangan pa raw silang ayusin, lalong-lalo na kung saan mananatili itong si Henry Alcantara, lalo pat part na siya ng WPP. At so far naman din, ang nasabi naman ni SP Soto patungkol sa ganitong mga transfer ng custodies kapag mayroong arrest warrants o kaya naman may transfer custody requests, ibibigay naman daw nila at i-transfer naman nila yung mga personalidad. Pero so far sa ngayon, mukhang si Curly Discaya at si Henry Alcantara ang mananatili muna sa Senate custody.
Saan naman dinala si Bryce at si JP?
Hindi na natin actually nasundan and nakita yung pinirmahan na custody transfer ng NBI. Pero kasi ito yung related nga doon sa kaso naman na inilabas din ng Sandigan Bayan tungkol doon sa isang maanumalyang flood control project sa Pandi, Bulacan. And nasasangkot din dito si former Senator Bong Revilla. So maaari kung saan yung korte nakahawak ng kaso na to, doon yung pinakamalapit na pananatilihan muna ni na Bryce Hernandez at JP Mendoza.
Okay. Punta naman tayo kay former DPWH Secretary Manny Bonoan. No? Mary Moon, pagising natin, headline na siya sa papel, nandito na raw sa Pilipinas. Ano ba yung backstory doon? Ano rin yung sinabi niya tungkol sa supposedly mali daw, sinadya daw mali yung coordinates na sinabmit sa Pangulo?
Actually, yun nga yung isa sa pinaka-inaabangan natin. Ang nasabi kasi ni Senate Blue Ribbon Chair Ping Lacson at Senate President Pro Tempore na kung sakali tinitignan nila yung options kung maaari bang mag-participate itong si Secretary Bonoan via a virtual conference platform, pero ang limitations noon dapat daw either nasa embassy or nasa consulate kung saan daw maaaring mag-take ng oath itong pinaka-secretary. Pero dahil umuwi naman ng Pilipinas nitong Sunday, Secretary Bonoan, present siya kanina at ang sinasabi niya mayroon siya mga kinailangan na attendan na medical procedures, yung sa pamilya niya rin overseas. Pero kanina, ibinahagi ni Secretary Bonoan na yung mula noong nagkaroon ng instructions Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na kailangan mag-submit ng kompletong listahan ng mga completed flood control projects, nagkaroon siya ng pag-i-instruction din kay former DPWH Sec Maria Catalina Cabral na mag-compile o mag-collate ng mga impormasyon. Yun nga lang, itong mga coordinates kasi na nakuha na ng access din nila, ito yung MIPS coordinates, ito yung multi-year programming and scheduling coordinates, ito yung during the planning stage kapag lumabas na yung GAA, yung mga coordinates ng mga ahensya kung saan ipaplato ilalagay yung mga infra projects. Yun nga lang, may variance ito dito naman sa pinakailalang as state coordinates. Ito yung mga coordinates na lumalabas naman kapag ini-implement na yung pinaka-infra projects. At ang nasabi ni Secretary Bonoan, pwedeng magkaroon ng changes doon sa coordinates or ng difference in meters that, for example, due to environmental factors, pwede na magbago yung landscape ng ilog, pwedeng lumiit, pwedeng lumaki, same din daw doon sa lupa. Kaya pwedeng nagkakaroon ng pagkakaiba doon sa variances nung pinaka-coordinates. Yun nga lang, ang sinasabi rin dito ng DPWH dahil dito sa development na to, mukhang kakailangan nilang mag-backtrack, mag-restart doon sa mga na-validate na nilang mga flood control projects na natag na nila as ghost flood control. At so far kasi over 10,000 na yung kanilang na-monitor, kaya mukhang kakailanganin nilang ulitin yung proseso dahil baka mali lang daw yung coordinates o location nitong mga proyekto. Pakinggan natin ang bahagi ng pagdinig.
No, but this is very clear na meron kayong allocated amount at nagsasubmit sila ng project sa inyo at binibigyan kayo ng kickback.
Wala ho
10%, 15%, and pag sinuma ho natin lahat yan, aabot yan to 2.2 billion pesos.
I completely deny, Your Honor. I don't have any allocable amount.
Well, Mary Mon, aside from Secretary Manny Bonoan, may nakita din tayong ilang mga bagong personalidad sa Blue Ribbon Committee hearing earlier. Kasama na dyan sila alias Joy at Maria. Sino ba sila at ano yung kanilang isiniwalat kanina sa hearing?
Sila yung dalawang nagtestimonya naman tungkol doon naman sa topic ng pinurchase na house and lot supposedly ni former House Speaker Martin Romualdez sa isang subdivision sa Makati. So sa kanila, sila itong mga pinaalis doon sa property dahil kailangan na raw, evicted na raw sila dahil kakailanganin na raw yung property na yon. At yung broker na si TJ Conti na nakausap nila, ito yung nagpakilala sa kanila sa isang contractor na supposedly ang may handle doon sa property. Yung contractor na yon ang nagbanggit na si former House Speaker Martin Romualdez daw ang nag-purchase o ang may-ari na nung pinaka-property na yon. Hindi pa raw nila alam yung pangalan ng contractor na yon not until nakita nila yung pagmumuka nung same contractor na yon sa isang pagdinig ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee at doon nila napangalanan na si Curly Discaya yon. Pero so far kanina naman itong si Curly Discaya, dininay niya naman na wala raw naging ganong transaksyon, hindi rin daw siya nag-step foot doon sa subdivision sa Makati at lahat dinedeny niya doon sa mga alegasyon na binitbit ni Joy at ni Maria.
February 1 po, it was just a short introduction by TJ Conti. He mentioned that he is the contractor. And then February 2, medyo nagtagal po kasi nakiusap na nga kami na we really cannot matanggal lahat ng mga gamit dahil sa sobrang dami. And he also mentioned to us na contractor ako dito meron din kaming deadline. And then we both asked baka pwede po namin pakiusapan yung may-ari, yung bagong nakabili ng bahay. And then he also mentioned that si Romualdez ang nakabili.
Ayan, may kasagutan ba si former Speaker Martin Romualdez sa akusasyong may connection siya sa mga Diskaya? Marymon.
So far, pagdating dito sa dating House Speaker, ang sinasabi niya rin mga baseless ulit yung mga akusasyon o yung mga alegasyon na na-bring up dito sa pagdinig. Yun nga lang kanina rin kasi medyo naging maikli yung discussion sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee tungkol doon mismo sa pag-purchase nitong supposed house and lot. Kaya ang sinasabi dito ni Senator Ping, since nagkaroon din ng denial from the side of Curly Discaya, gagamitin na lang daw nila ito bilang lead, supposedly to investigate pa yung connection, kung mayroong direct connection, itong si Curly Discaya doon kay dating House Speaker Martin Romualdez. So far doon nasara yung usapin na tungkol dito sa dalawang nagtestigo at tungkol doon sa purchase na house and lot.
Dapat yung broker imbitahin din nila. Wala dun Alright.
Oo, Seth, may nabanggit nga rin na ibang pangalan. Doon kasi sa deed of sale, hindi rin nakapangalan talaga specifically itong si House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ang nakalagay din doon parang isang kumpanya rin, pero titignan natin sa susunod na pagdinig ng Blue Ribbon kung magkakaroon ulit ng pagpapatawag pa dito sa mga nabanggit na pangalan.
Okay, maraming salamat sa iyo, mobile journalist Marymon Reyes reporting to us live from the Senate.
Now, in related news, resigned Public Works Secretary Manny Bonoan is now facing a plunder complaint over alleged anomalous flood control projects. Department of Justice spokesperson Attorney Polo Martinez said the National Bureau of Investigation filed a complaint naming Bonoan as a co-respondent of Senator Jinggoy Estrada. That's over an alleged ill-gotten wealth exceeding 50 million pesos linked to multiple transactions and flood control projects across various areas. Martinez added the complaint is not limited to a single project nor locality. Bonoan returned to the Philippines on Sunday after spending 2 months in the United States. He is among those under investigation for anomalous flood control projects and remains under an immigration lookout bulletin order. Bonoan resigned last year after being linked to an alleged 95 million peso ghost flood control project in Bulacan. Meanwhile, the Justice Department is expected to issue a subpoena this week for former Senator Bong Revilla in a separate plunder complaint. Earlier, we reported that the Sandigan Bayan has already issued an arrest warrant and whole departure order against Revilla and 6 former DPWH officials over a supposed infrastructure contract also in Bulacan. Several flood control cases are also now up for resolution, according to the DOJ, including those linked to Sims Construction. And in another development, DPWH Secretary Vince Dizon ordered the immediate repair of a bridge in Lupi, Camarines Sur following his personal inspection of the structure. During the visit, Dizon even cursed after feeling the bridge violently shake as a truck passed. Apart from this, Dizon also directed the immediate completion of long-delayed projects, including the Aganan flyover in Pavia, Iloilo. The project was originally targeted for completion back in 2022, which is intended to serve as an alternate route along Felix Goriseta Jr. Avenue and Benigno S. Aquino Jr. Avenue.
We will ensure 100% safety, but we will also ensure, sabi nga ni PBBM, that we will finally finish it this year before Christmas of 2026.
And in other news, the Philippine National Police say that they are now receiving calls on the possible whereabouts of businessman Charlie Atong Ang. This is following the announcement of a 10 million peso reward for information leading to his arrest over the missing Sabongeros case. The PNP CIDG says all tips are currently undergoing verification. They have also declined to release details, citing the ongoing validation process.
Meron nang nabigay ng mga information at ito ay binavalidate ng aming Intel Division. Sinasala pa natin kung ano mostly yung mga binigay kasi ang atin pong kailangan po is information leading to the arrest. So kaya dapat masala po yung mga call.
Of the 22 suspects linked to the missing Sabongeros case, Ang is now the only one still at large. To help fast-track the manhunt, the PNP has earlier launched nationwide hotlines, which are now being flashed on your screens. They also warned that prank callers and anyone attempting to mislead authorities will face penalties.
Malalaman din naman yan upon validation na nagloloko lang sila. At nandyan naman ang kanilang number, malalaman kung sino yung mga nagpa-prank call.
And while Ang has no assigned police security based on official records, investigators are looking into reports that active or retired police officers may be assisting him. Authorities likewise believe the gambling magnate is still in the country despite claims by whistleblower Julie Dondon Patidongan that he may already be abroad.
We still believe that andito pa siya, considering na wala namang record ng kanyang flight details na lumabas ng bansa.
Meantime, President Bongbong Marcos has announced the discovery of significant natural gas over Malampaya Field offshore Palawan. This is the first major find for the Philippines in more than a decade and could mean harvest of around 98 billion cubic feet of gas. Malampaya is the only gas field that produces offshore resources for the country, with the new discovery seen to boost power supply for about 5.7 million homes a year.
This helps Malampaya's contribution and strengthens our domestic gas supply for many years to come. Initial testing showed that the well flowed at 60 million cubic feet per day. This indicates that the well has the potential to produce even more, confirming it is a high productivity resource comparable to the original Malampaya wells. Patunay ito na sa responsableng pangangalaga sa kaligsasan at matibay na pagtutulungan ng gobyerno at pribadong sektor, makakamit natin ang mas maaasahang supply ng enerhiya para sa bawat Pilipino.
You're still watching the Big Story on One News, and coming up, Beijing has filed a diplomatic protest over the Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson posting cartoon images of President Xi Jinping. We have details in a bit, and keep it here on One News. Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us here on the Big Story. The Chinese embassy in the Philippines has filed a diplomatic protest against Coast Guard spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, Commodore J. Tariela. That's over allegedly hyping up and misrepresenting facts on maritime issues. The Chinese embassy in particular was irked by circulating caricatures of Chinese President Xi Jinping, which Tariela apparently shared. Tariela refused to apologize for the post, insisting that he never even mentioned Xi when referring to the cartoonish images. But in a separate post, the Chinese embassy said, and we quote, "The claim is directly contradicted by the video record of the De La Salle College seminar on January 14, which clearly shows that J. Tariela mentioned the Chinese leader on 7 occasions and made explicit attacking remarks." It also insisted that the video they have does not distort nor misrepresent facts. It even dared Tariela to answer how many times he lied and if he wanted the video clip released for everyone to see. And at this point, we now speak to Commodore J. Tariela, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea. Good evening to you, Commodore. Welcome to the Big Story.
Hello, Ms. Seth. Good evening. Pleasant evening to everyone as well.
Do you think you may have crossed the line at this point?
I don't think so, Mrs. The mere fact that I did this presentation to a group of students, whether it's a satirical caricature of their national leader or whatever, I mean, there's no reason for me to apologize. The Chinese government has been harassing the Filipino fishermen, violating international law, water cannoning Philippine Coast Guard vessels, making it difficult for us to do the resupply mission. I think what they have been doing in the West Philippine Sea is even worse than the caricature that is circulating. It's because they're making a big issue out of it.
How about the dare of the Chinese embassy to you to post the video of your talk and their claim that you lied about what you said?
Mrs. First of all, I didn't really I didn't really think that the Chinese government has been actively, following my post in social media and even watching my campus caravan lectures to the students to make them aware of the West Philippine Sea. It's a very small issue whether I mention Xi Jinping, relating to Xi Jinping. That's not the point here. The main concern here is that the Chinese government remains to violate international law, right? And the main concern here is that why would they even interfere with our domestic concern? They are violating the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. They cannot ask our government to discipline or explain those kind of things that we're doing because of freedom of expression.
Commodore, you also said and you believe that the PCG's transparency efforts are wearing China down because they're now starting to become more vocal and aggressive when it comes to their responses. Do you think there's a direct correlation between the two?
I think the direct correlation between the noise that the Chinese embassy is doing in the social media is that it is all because of the arrival of the new Chinese ambassador. For so many years since we started the transparency effort, even if I would say that we have become more effective, 94% of the Filipino people supported the transparency effort. More of the states in the international community that share liberal values, the rules-based order, also support our position. But it doesn't really mean that it's all because of that. I think the most critical thing that happened in the past days is that the new ambassador of the Chinese embassy arrived, and he believes probably that responding to the transparency effort is to take advantage of the social media platforms and counter all of those factual narratives that we're saying by misinformation, by deliberate lies and propaganda, so that it will confuse the domestic audience that we have here in our country.
Right, but Commodore, to those detractors online who keep saying that you might have put the president in a tight spot, what would you have to say to them?
Well, those are pro-China lines, and those detractors who have been saying that, these are the same people who have been supportive of the pro-China line. I consider them trolls who are always look after the interests of the People's Republic of China and not the Filipino people.
The images you used in your presentation were culled from social media, or were they made by made by yourself or your staff?
Well, I just used those images to explain how the Chinese government remains to be bullied and why they remain to be bullied. There's no deliberate intention to mock anybody. It is only a figurative interpretation of the decision of President Xi Jinping to destroy the Filipino spirit of pushing for transparency.
While we have you on the show, Commodore, tell us what is the current situation out in the West Philippine Sea / South China Sea? Have things or tensions abated a bit, or is it still status quo, water cannoning, etc.?
Well, we have already released our annual report on the part of the Philippine Coast Guard as to how we monitored and documented the illegal presence of the People's Republic of China. We believe that the number of the Chinese Coast Guard vessels, comparing with those vessels that were deployed in the previous year, in 2024, we believe that there is a significant uptick. There is an increase of the Chinese Coast Guard and Chinese maritime militia. That's one. The second thing that we observed is that before, the Chinese Coast Guard are pretty much concentrated in Bajo de Masinloc and its near vicinity. But in 2025, we saw Chinese Coast Guard trying to normalize their illegal presence and illegal patrol off the coast of Pangasinan, Zambales, Bataan, and Mindoro. As a matter of fact, the closest distance of the Chinese Coast Guard is at 25 nautical miles. In the previous years, the Chinese Coast Guard can only be found in Bajo de Masinloc. And third, we also noted that there is a very large number of Chinese research vessels that also pass through and conduct illegal marine scientific research in our exclusive economic zone, not just in the West Philippine Sea, but even on our eastern seaboard.
And do you think, Commodore, of course we do, you already mentioned it, we have a new Chinese ambassador to replace Huang Xilian. We have Ching Chuan right now, supposedly is going to be a lot more aggressive, a lot more assertive. What is going to be our response to that maybe new angle from the Chinese embassy here in Manila?
Well, for me, the noisier they get, the less credibility that they're going to have. There's no amount of lies and disinformation that you can throw at in the social media in countering the factual narrative.
And this latest brouhaha over your talk, would you say this is really meant to digress from the main issue that's confronting us right now?
Yes, Mr. I think this kind of noise that the Chinese embassy is doing for over a week already, lambasting our lawmakers, Senator Kiko Pangilinan, Congressman Laila De Lima, Congressman Shell Jokno, the spokesperson of NMC, the spokesperson of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and myself. This is a deliberate attempt to discredit our transparency efforts and also to make the Filipino people doubt our own position when it comes to the issue of the West Philippines.
And Commodore, since this is a diplomatic protest on the end of the Chinese embassy, have you spoken already to anyone from the Foreign Affairs Department, and do they support your stance that you will not be apologizing for this incident?
Well, first of all, the Department of Foreign Affairs is not my part of my chain of command. I report to the Commandant of the Philippine Coast Guard.
So, will the DFA? Do you believe that the DFA should step in this matter, since it involves diplomatic relations?
Well, I cannot speak for the Department of Foreign Affairs, but as far as the Philippine Coast Guard is concerned, we're still going to continue our transparency efforts in exposing the Chinese illegal, coercive, aggressive, and deceptive actions in the West Philippines.
You're saying that, you know, the battle is moving towards social media. And, well, we're outnumbered by the trolls that, you know, is said to be employed by the other side. How do we counter? How do we counter this, Commodore?
You know, Ms. Tess, this question was also asked to our National Security Advisor a few years back when we were in Pag-asa Island. He responded to such questions very plainly and very deliberate. He said, our strategy will remain to be the same despite of the increasing number of pro-China trolls We just have to keep on telling the truth.
All right, we seem to have lost the Commodore there, but we had pretty much a long conversation with him, and he clarified. Anything you wish to add, Commodore?
Yes, I don't know whether I responded to the question.
Yes,
a
we
while
heard
ago.
you. Yes.
Yes.
All
Okay.
right. Thank you so much for your time. Commodore J. Tariela, PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea.
Okay, and on that note,
Seems anticlimactic.
that's it for the big story this eventful Monday. Thank you very much for watching.
And it's going to be an eventful week indeed, Pawi.
Yes.
So, on that note, we are back here tomorrow at 8 p.m. and we will see you then.
Manic Monday. It was a manic Monday. Kapatid, we are One News, all sides, all the time. Have a good night.